I came to know about Kituo because I was very desperate and I had problems because I had a case whereby my younger brothers had disinherited me. They had taken most of my parents' properties.
After being evicted, then the Kituo Cha Sheria had to file a case under certificate of urgency to ensure that any further eviction was to be stopped. And actually it was stopped with orders from Kituo Cha Sheria lawyers.
Kituo was founded by young lawyers who were then students at the University of Nairobi. Very critical members of this society, but then they were basically students. And this was just after the colonial era, so it was post-colonial. A lot of our people were laborers. Some of them, walked to work and struggled in the cities of this country. They couldn't afford basic food. They didn't see any reason to afford a lawyer when they had been, fired from employment. So all they chose to was either to give up or just actually give up. So that is why we had these young lawyers, and one of them is the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. We have senior practicing advocate Stephen Adere. We have Murtaza Jaffa, who is somewhere in Dar es Salaam. David Kachukia, Dr. David Kachukia teaches at the University of Nairobi. And former two judges of our country, Honorable Justice Mary Angawa and Justice J.V. Juma. It's an interesting story of Kituo that these members who are now very eminent, we are saying the former Chief Justice, the former judge, a PhD holder, used to sit under a tree somewhere in Ngara and provide free legal advice and free legal services, draft letters for those poor people. Very interesting history, if you sought my opinion, and one which we hope will always carry into the generations of this country, because they didn't get paid, they didn't do anything to earn for it. All they did was to volunteer as people who are knowledgeable in law and give free legal advice and free legal services to the poor people of this country who needed it.
Family of 58 staff members is governed by the annual general meeting, the board of directors, and a secretariat led by the executive director. Kituo has 3 key programs and 2 support departments that work together to promote land, labor, housing, and refugee rights. The Legal Aid and Education Program provides legal service to walk-in clients, public interest litigation, and alternative dispute resolution. The Advocacy, Governance, and Community Partnerships coordinates community outreach and advocacy initiatives. Research, Communication, and Knowledge Management deals with research, communication, documentation, and information technology. The Finance and Administration provides human resources, administrative and logistical support, and financial support to programs.
I run the Advocacy, Governance, and Community Partnership Program that majorly deals with empowering community members to defend their rights, to advocate for their rights, and train them on different aspects of the Bill of Rights of our constitutions, especially on land rights, housing rights, and evictions. One of the best projects I have seen is mHaki. mHaki is basically the use of a mobile phone to provide legal advice to clients who come to Kituo every day, Monday to Friday. What we did last year is we went around 6 counties within Kenya to pilot the mHaki as a new technology within Kenya and one of a kind that is now helping clients in whatever part of the country where you are. As long as you have the Mehaki number, you can text in your legal question. We have dedicated in-house advocates together with pro bono advocates who sit down and wait for the legal questions to come in, and they interact with you every day. Within a period of 48 hours, your question is answered.
I'm the local expert on AJS. AJS is an alternative dispute systems. AJS came about after 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. 13 organizations, CBOs, came up together to seek redress on compensation. Most of these IDPs came from the Western and larger Nyanza regions. They came up together and to seek redress through Kituo and an organization called Redress and PLPG. These conversations on seeking of compensation after the violence is what brought about AJS. AJS promotes true healing in the country, number one. Number two, also it limits the number of cases taken to court, which makes justice efficient and faster.
We assist refugees, we do court interventions, we do detention monitoring at the police stations. We monitor the borders to ensure that refugees have access to the country of asylum. We do community sensitization forums where we talk to refugees and give them updates on what is happening with the laws and policies. We offer mobile legal aid clinics where we go to areas that are far-fetched for the refugees to meet them at their point of need. The first public interest litigation case that we filed was in 2013, and it challenged the encampment policy. At that time, urban refugees were rounded up and were taken to certain sites for purposes of transportation to Dadaab and Kakuma. So we found this to be in violation of their right to movement, and based on that, we went to court to challenge this decision. It was a very big win, and people are looking at Kenya as a place where jurisprudence is being developed, and I am glad to be part of the people who are putting Kenya on the map as regards refugee rights and refugee law.
At Kituo Cha Sheria, we represent the poor and the marginalized clients that come here, and initially what we do is that when they come at the gate, we do what we call client screening. So it calls for a lot of patience. This client is not looking only for legal advice. This client is also looking for other things, like probably even moral advice and things like that. The most memorable case is the Shauri Moyo case, in which we were able to stop the government from evicting the residents of Shauri Moyo. But Kituo came in and we were able to stop the evictions. And it is our belief that no evictions should leave anyone homeless.
We support the mission of Kituo Cha Sheria by offering the day-to-day support of running the programs. We coordinate the finances, we manage the finances, and also we oversee the whole processes of running the implementation of the activities.
This kind of work needs a lot of self-belief, self-motivation, passion created from your self within. Nobody can just come and give it to you. So there are people who actually want to be in this industry. That is why they are. So, and that's a beautiful feeling to be with such people.
Kituo recently commissioned the Client Management Information System that, with the support from USAID through African Capacity Alliance, that we've just started inputting client records. We'll manage them better, more efficiently, and it will help us in data analysis. We document what Kituo is doing on the ground, and our main mission is to make sure that the world out there, the public, knows what Kituo is doing. By analyzing this data, we are able now to tell exactly what kind of interventions we should put in place. For example, if a certain problem is coming from a certain area, right now with the kind of manual data that we're doing, we'll not be able to capture that. But using this system, we'll be able to tell, for example, certain problems are coming out from clients who are coming from Kibera. Then we'll be forced, now we'll sit down and look for strategies of how we can reach those clients inside Kibera.
And with the generous support of donors who believe in giving the poor a voice, and with the hard work, dedication and commitment of the Kituo family, we can now boast of an office in Nairobi, the headquarters, and a branch office in Mombasa.
The Kituo Mombasa regional office was established in 2000, so this is now 17 years since the office was started, and the office was established because of the need to have legal aid assistance being devolved to other areas of the country, and the regional office covers the entire coast region, meaning that all the 6 counties are covered by the team that works there.
Very finally, why does it survive? Because of the Kenyan society that has embraced the vision and mission of Kituo Cha Sheria. We have the lawyers of this country, over 600 in number. They have committed to the organization and they give their services to the poor communities of this country for free. They don't charge a thing. Once they are members of the pro bono legal services of Kituo, they have ensured that they give the best representation to the poor people without charging them anything. We also have what we call frontline advocates, and these are the paralegals, both in the communities and in the prison justice centers. They have done wonderful in really meeting the poor and the need for justice at the doorstep of need.
Kituo has established grassroots partnerships through 9 community justice centers, which are run in partnership with its community networks and managed by trained community paralegals who offer free legal services to the surrounding communities. There are 3 in Nairobi and 1 each in Kitui, Kisumu, Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa and Turkana.
I'm a community paralegal at Kamukunji Community Justice Center, and I'm also a case manager on sexual and gender-based violence. Okay, the challenges are many, starting from the survivors or victim come survival themselves to the judiciary. Yeah, I can say that majority of the victims are ignorant. They don't report the cases. And where the cases are reported, maybe to the enforcement, to the law enforcers, they also tend to compromise or frustrate the process. I'm very much passionate because it affects the family level. The survivor tends to live with the scars for the rest of her or his life.
Kituo has also partnered with the Kenya Prison Service in establishing 8 prisons justice centers in Kamiti Maximum, Shimolatewa Men, Shimolatewa Women, Langata Women, Kodiaga, Nyeri, Meru, and Kakamega prisons respectively.
It has been very clear from our experience in the last progressively 3 years, as can be seen in our annual reports, that the demand way outweighs supplies. There's very high need in our country of the poor people and marginalized people in need of access to justice.
We have a lot of injustices in our country. I'm so sorry to say this. And therefore, those that do not have financial muscle find it very hard to have litigation, to have any help from lawyers, because we do not have lawyers who come to your rescue.
They gave me a lot of help because they gave me a good lawyer who has represented me even to the court. His work is good. Kituo Cha Sheria, from the main gate to the reception to the offices, they have really helped me in so many ways. I don't use a lot of money. I only use bus fare to come to this place.
Some of our awards over the years: the Distinguished Service Award of the Law Society of Kenya, UNDP Amkeni's Best Performing CSO in Access to Justice in 2014, NGO Leadership Award 2016 at the 6th Africa NGO Leadership Awards in Mauritius. The BBC Radio Documentary Award for the paralegal work in Shimolatewa prisons 2014. Nominated for Rockefeller Foundation Next Century Innovations for training inmates to promote legal rights in 2013. Nomination for the Innovative Justice Award by the University of Tilburg in The Hague. Nomination for the Namati Justice Awards 2015. Nomination for the Institutional Justice Category Award by the East Africa Law Society in 2013. Civil Society of the Year Award winner in 2010 and 2012. Kituo's Just How Long, a short film about internally displaced persons in Kinamba, Laikipia County, Kenya, was nominated for the German Human Rights Film Awards in 2016.
An organization like Kituo Cha Sheria, 44 years on, in fact in the sector, a lot of our colleagues call us the Big Brother organization. But we are not able to sustain ourselves beyond the donor funds. And the donor funds are concentrated only on the programmatic side. Nobody is willing to fund a capital project. Like this organization, we are lucky to have got donor grant of the piece of land, a piece of land many years ago. The land is prime, but it is very difficult to attract support in order to build it and be able to be sustainable. Find a way to generate income and sustain the programs which we offer towards access to justice. Because if we close shop, we don't have the legal aid services in place. And many of the organizations which are peer to us are struggling for funding. What happens to the poor people? The future of Kituo looks hopeful, but this hope cannot be achieved without the support of partners. And if not, really, government support, because the work that is done by this organization is really work that should be done. It is the duty of government. And so we are open to partner with the government and various stakeholders in ensuring the sustainability of Kituo. The sustainability of Kituo Cha Sheria is the sustainability of the Kenyan society.
Kituo Cha Sheria, giving a voice to the poor and marginalized.